Introduction: The power of Stoicism in finding inner value. Picture this for a moment. The most potent tool to live a fulfilling and meaningful life isn't something you can buy, earn, or receive from others. It's not hidden in wealth or status, nor is it granted by the circumstances of your life. This force is already within you, waiting to be discovered, nurtured, and harnessed. This isn't a mere thought experiment or wishful thinking. It's an irrefutable reality rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has guided countless individuals across centuries, teaches that the essence of a life well lived isn't found in external rewards or fleeting achievements. Rather, it lies in mastering the art of self-value, learning to hold ourselves to the standards of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These core virtues shape who we are at our deepest level, offering a framework for resilience, purpose, and tranquility. Despite the storms that may rage around us, Stoicism reveals that we possess an unwavering inner strength, an unshakable foundation upon which we can build our happiness. The world may often seem chaotic, and external forces may push and pull us in various directions, but our true well-being is rooted within us. Stoicism teaches us to strip away the layers of societal expectations, self-doubt, and superficial aspirations to reveal the profound truths about who we are and our place in this world. This journey isn't just about self-improvement. It's about rediscovering the inherent value we've always possessed. It's about aligning ourselves with our deepest values and learning to live with intention. If you're ready to unlock the door to personal freedom, resilience, and fulfillment, then you've come to the right place. Together, let's embark on a journey to illuminate the path to valuing ourselves in ways we never thought possible. And I ask you this: don't skip this moment. If you're here, consider yourself different from the crowd. Consider yourself an exception. Now rise to that challenge and dive into every aspect of this journey, because only then will you truly see the transformation unfold. Sign 1. Accepting less than you deserve. We've all been there, haven't we? At some point, we've settled for less than we deserve. Maybe we stayed in a job that drained the very life from us, lingered in relationships that chipped away at our spirit, or dimmed our own dreams because we feared failure. We tell ourselves, this is as good as it gets, and compromise our aspirations. But why do we do this? Is it fear, comfort, or perhaps a blend of both? Stoicism teaches us that our worth is not defined by these external circumstances. Whether we're living in the grandeur of a palace or trapped in the confines of a prison, our essence remains untouched by these worldly conditions. What defines us, according to Stoic philosophy, is not our situation, but our response to it. It's about recognizing that while we may not have control over every event in our lives, we always have the ultimate power over how we perceive, judge, and act in the face of them. Think about it. When we accept less than we deserve, aren't we handing over control of our lives to the external world? Stoicism challenges us to reclaim that power. It encourages us to ask ourselves, is this situation aligned with my values? Am I responding in a way that reflects my true worth? And if the answer is no, then Stoicism doesn't leave us stranded. It offers us a tool to reshape our reality, the ability to shift our perception and choose a response that honors who we are at our core. When we accept less than we deserve, we must remind ourselves that our worth is not tied to the labels we wear or the titles we hold. It's measured by our ability to act with integrity, courage, and wisdom, regardless of the external noise. This isn't about blaming ourselves for our circumstances. It's about empowering ourselves to see the control we still hold and how we can take the reins to create a life that aligns with our values. Let's stop settling for less, not out of entitlement, but because we recognize our inherent worth. When we do so, we're not just surviving, we're thriving. And in true Stoic fashion, we become the architects of our own happiness no matter what the world throws our way. Sign 2. Minimizing your achievements. Why is it that so often we downplay our accomplishments? Perhaps you've finished a challenging project at work, completed a personal goal, or conquered a difficult hurdle, but instead of savoring the victory, you dismiss it with a wave of the hand. We say things like, "Oh, it wasn't a big deal," or "Anyone could have done that." But Stoicism encourages us to honor our achievements, not with arrogance, but with a deep recognition of the virtues that made them possible. In Stoic thought, virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance are the pillars that uphold our actions. Each success we achieve, whether grand or humble, is often the result of these very virtues at work. Maybe it took courage to take a leap of faith in your career, wisdom to navigate challenges along the way, or discipline to remain consistent even when the road was tough. To diminish that achievement is to overlook the virtues that empowered it. How do we change this mindset? How do we celebrate without tipping into arrogance? Stoicism offers us the answer. It's all about balance and honesty. Instead of rejecting your success, acknowledge it. Say, "Yes, I worked hard for this. Yes, I faced obstacles and overcame them. Yes, this achievement reflects my effort and the virtues I embody." This isn't about feeding your ego, but about honoring the truth of your journey and giving credit where credit is due. Take a moment and reflect on something you've achieved recently, no matter how small. Now, think about the virtues that fueled that success. Did you show extraordinary discipline? Did you face fear and push through it? Did you display wisdom in making a difficult decision? Recognize and honor those virtues. In doing so, you'll shift your perspective from false modesty to a genuine appreciation for the strength and character you've demonstrated. When we begin to acknowledge our own achievements and the virtues behind them, we move closer to living with self-awareness and humility, not in an inflated way, but in a way that's rooted in truth. It allows us to honor our progress without inflating our sense of self. And this, dear friend, is the true Stoic path. Sign 3. Prioritizing others' needs over your own. It's a familiar scenario, isn't it? We pour ourselves into others, helping colleagues, caring for loved ones, sacrificing our own needs to serve those around us. It feels noble, even heroic at times. But here's the catch. Constantly putting others first at the expense of our own well-being leads to exhaustion, resentment, and eventually a sense of loss. It's like trying to pour water from an empty pitcher. Eventually, the well runs dry. Stoicism teaches us that self-care is not selfish. It's essential. To care for others, we must first ensure that we are in a strong, healthy, and balanced place ourselves. When we neglect our own well-being, we strip ourselves of the ability to truly give to others. It's about recognizing the dichotomy of control. What we can control is our own thoughts, actions, and self-care, but we cannot control the well-being of others directly. Imagine this. When you're rested, healthy, and at peace, how much more patient and understanding are you with others? How much more able are you to offer love, guidance, and support? This is the power of self-care, not indulgence, but the recognition that, to be of service to others, we must first be well-equipped to do so. In the Stoic tradition, caring for ourselves is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It means taking time to recharge, setting boundaries, and engaging in activities that restore our energy. Whether it's exercise, reading, or simply spending quiet time alone, these acts of self-care strengthen us so that we can show up as the best version of ourselves for those we love. So, I challenge you. Think of one way you can prioritize your own well-being this week. Your future self, and the people you care for, will thank you for it. Sign 4. Struggling to accept compliments. Have you ever found yourself uncomfortable when someone praises you? Maybe you deflect or minimize their words, brushing off the compliment with a quick, "It was nothing," or "I didn't do much." But Stoicism teaches us that humility is not about denying our strengths. It's about recognizing them in a grounded and honest way. Accepting compliments graciously isn't about feeding our ego. It's about seeing ourselves clearly, with all our strengths and imperfections. Humility, in the Stoic sense, is a practice of self-awareness. It's about recognizing your worth without arrogance, understanding that acknowledging your virtues does not diminish your character. In fact, accepting a compliment is an opportunity for reflection, a chance to see yourself through the eyes of others, to understand the impact you've had, and to honor the effort you've put in. The next time someone offers you a compliment, instead of deflecting, simply say, "Thank you." Allow yourself to accept it as a reflection of your virtues and efforts and use it as a moment for reflection. What did I do to earn this praise? How does it reflect my character? This practice helps us grow in self-awareness and appreciation, not just for our achievements, but for the virtues that allow us to make them possible. Sign 5. The paralyzing fear of decision-making. Imagine standing at the crossroads of life, each path offering a different outcome, but fear grips you so tightly that you cannot take a step forward. This hesitation is not born from a lack of options, but from a profound doubt in your own judgment, a fear that one wrong move could unravel everything. Stoicism shines a light on this struggle, teaching us that the true power lies not in controlling the uncertain outcomes of our decisions, but in ensuring that our choices are grounded in wisdom, integrity, and reason. Why then does making a decision feel so overwhelming? Often it's the fear of failure, of choosing wrongly, and suffering consequences we deem as mistakes. But the Stoic perspective turns this fear on its head, suggesting that failures are not the end, but stepping stones on the path of growth. There are no failures, only lessons to be learned. Each choice, whether it leads to success or not, is an opportunity to refine our understanding and deepen our wisdom. To ease the pressure of decision-making, we must focus on the process, not the outcome. Ask yourself, does this decision align with my core values? Am I acting with integrity? By framing our choices within these questions, we remove the burden of fearing the result, and instead embrace the journey of making decisions that reflect our true selves. The outcomes will follow, but what matters most is the alignment between our actions and our values. This process cultivates self-trust, allowing us to make decisions with confidence. As Stoicism teaches, each result, whether joyous or disappointing, carries lessons that fortify us for future challenges. Life is a series of decisions, each one contributing to our growth. And when we trust our ability to navigate those choices, we learn that we are not powerless, but profoundly capable of steering our course through even the stormiest seas. Sign 6. The tyranny of excessive self-criticism. Imagine sailing across a vast ocean, but instead of steering your ship toward the horizon, you're constantly fixated on every small imperfection in the sails. This is the nature of excessive self-criticism. It keeps us anchored to the past, unable to move forward, focusing on every flaw as though it defines our entire existence. Stoicism offers a refreshing antidote to this internal battle, the practice of self-compassion and the pursuit of progress over perfection. Why do we fall prey to such harsh self-judgment? Often we set impossible standards for ourselves, standards we wouldn't dare impose on anyone else. We forget that being human means embracing our flaws, making mistakes, and crucially, learning and growing from them. Stoicism invites us to treat ourselves with the same kindness we would offer a dear friend, recognizing that setbacks are not marks of failure, but integral parts of our journey. When we stumble, instead of self-reproach, we should ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience? This shift in mindset transforms our relationship with growth. We no longer chase an unattainable ideal of perfection, but embrace the beautiful, messy, and often non-linear process of becoming better versions of ourselves. This doesn't mean we stop striving for improvement, but we begin to understand that growth is often more about the journey than the destination. Each step forward, no matter how imperfect, is a victory. Sign 7. The comparison trap. In a world where every scroll on our devices presents curated snapshots of others' lives, only their highs, never their lows, it's all too easy to fall into the comparison trap. We measure our worth against others, forgetting that their success doesn't diminish our own value. Stoicism teaches us to turn inward, to focus not on how we stack up against the world, but on our own growth and the virtues we've cultivated along the way. Social media, with its endless parade of highlight reels, can distort our sense of reality. It's important to remind ourselves that behind every carefully selected image, there's a whole story, one filled with struggles, imperfections, and setbacks. Stoicism encourages us to appreciate the journey of others without letting it diminish our own. Rather than comparing, we can choose to be inspired by others' virtues and achievements while holding space for our own progress. To combat the comparison trap, Stoicism advocates for mindfulness and self-awareness. Catch yourself when you start comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's show reel. Remind yourself that the true measure of your worth comes not from the fleeting glimpses of other people's lives, but from the depth of your own journey, the virtues you embody, the lessons you learn, and the progress you make along the way. Stoicism invites us to reflect on what truly lies within our power, the control over our actions, attitudes, and virtues. These are the seeds from which our journey grows, each effort we make nurturing our personal evolution. By focusing on cultivating these internal qualities, we build a life full of personal meaning, untethered from the approval or comparison of others. This approach cultivates a garden of significance in our lives, where our own values become the soil, and our growth is not dependent on external validation. Gratitude plays a crucial role in this process. By recognizing and appreciating our unique experiences, our challenges, triumphs, and even our struggles, we anchor ourselves in the present moment. This practice doesn't imply complacency. Rather, it fuels our drive for growth and improvement, but from a foundation of contentment, not from the sense of lack. We strive for progress because we understand our inherent worth, not because we feel inadequate. How often do we delay pursuing a passion, a new hobby, or neglect our well-being because we don't feel worthy of the effort? Many of us fall into this trap, not because of a lack of resources or time, but because we fail to recognize our own value. It's as if we're telling ourselves, "I am not worth the investment." Stoicism, with its profound understanding of human nature, challenges this mindset. It teaches us that self-improvement isn't just an activity, it is a form of self-respect. By cultivating our reason and virtues, we align ourselves with what truly fulfills us. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, compared life to a garden, one that needs regular care to flourish. Our inner world, much like a garden, requires daily attention. If we neglect it, it will wither. Yet the question remains, why do we hesitate to invest in ourselves? Sometimes it's because we succumb to the allure of short-term pleasures, opting for instant gratification instead of long-term fulfillment. At other times, it's rooted in a deeper issue, a lack of self-esteem, or the belief that we are unworthy of such effort. Stoicism offers a counter-narrative to this self-doubt. It asserts that every person has inherent worth and the potential for greatness. When we invest in ourselves, whether through learning, self-care, or pursuing passions, we're honoring that worth. This is not about indulging in fleeting moments of pleasure, but about making meaningful strides toward becoming the best version of ourselves. So, how do we begin this journey of self-investment according to Stoic principles? The first step is a shift in mindset. We must begin to see self-improvement as a fundamental and non-negotiable aspect of life. This doesn't mean changing everything overnight, but making consistent small efforts each day, whether it's reading a new book, dedicating time to meditation, or picking up a hobby that ignites joy. Stoicism also teaches the importance of reflection and self-examination. By periodically assessing our progress, understanding our strengths, and identifying areas for growth, we keep our journey on track. Self-reflection isn't just about measuring success by external standards. It's about aligning our actions with our deepest values. It's about cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, and resilience, and living a life that has meaning beyond material achievements. Another key Stoic principle is the concept of lifelong learning. Stoics viewed wisdom not as a destination, but as a continuous journey. Embracing a mindset of curiosity allows us to see personal growth not as a chore, but as an exciting adventure. an opportunity to explore the vast, uncharted landscapes of knowledge and experience life has to offer. True fulfillment doesn't come from the fleeting validation of others. It arises from knowing we are living authentically, in line with our principles. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic emperors, reminded us that it is not the opinions of others that disturb us, but our judgments about those opinions. In a world filled with external pressures and comparisons, it's easy to lose sight of our own path. Stoicism invites us to turn inward, to focus on building character, and to live virtuously. True peace is found in knowing we have lived true to ourselves, not in winning the applause of the world. How then do we free ourselves from the chains of external validation? It begins with self-awareness. By being mindful of our need for approval, we can start to ask ourselves, are we pursuing a goal because it aligns with our values, or are we chasing after the approval of others? Stoicism encourages us to regularly reflect on our actions and motivations, ensuring that our efforts are guided by our own principles. Another Stoic practice that can help us break free from this reliance on others is the development of self-sufficiency. This doesn't mean isolating ourselves, but rather finding contentment and fulfillment within. In a world that constantly measures success by external achievements, titles, accolades, possessions, Stoicism teaches us to redefine success. True success, from a Stoic perspective, is about the pursuit of virtue, the practice of reason, and the cultivation of resilience. It's about the quiet, steady progress of living in harmony with our values and striving for excellence, regardless of the external outcome. There are moments in life when we find ourselves stuck in a toxic environment, a draining job, a relationship that diminishes our worth, or a situation that robs us of our peace. The reason we often stay is rooted in a belief that we don't deserve better. But Stoicism offers a mirror and a map. It reminds us that while our environment can affect us, we have the power to shape our surroundings and our responses. Marcus Aurelius teaches that our inner peace isn't determined by external circumstances, but by how we choose to respond to them. Why do we often tolerate negativity? Perhaps it's because we underestimate our ability to change or fear the unknown. Stoicism challenges us to confront these fears and recognize our own capacity for transformation. We have more agency than we think, and by choosing to act with virtue and purpose, we can shift our circumstances, or at the very least, our perception of them. One of the keys to Stoic resilience is cultivating an inner fortress, what Marcus Aurelius calls our inner citadel. By strengthening our character, we become more impervious to the chaos around us. This doesn't mean we become indifferent to the world. Rather, it means we can navigate it with calm and clarity, staying true to our values even in the face of adversity. We learn to make choices that protect our well-being and honor our worth, rather than tolerating environments that undermine them. Stoicism helps us face our fears, especially the fear of change or failure. Our minds are quick to imagine worst-case scenarios, painting vivid pictures of loss, failure, or judgment. Stoicism encourages us to confront these fears head-on, not to dwell on them but to diminish their hold over us. By imagining the worst-case scenarios, we rob them of their power and see that the pursuit of virtue is valuable, regardless of the outcome. In this way, Stoicism teaches us that the path to personal growth is not about avoiding challenges, but about embracing them as opportunities to evolve. Sign 11. Fear of pursuing dreams. Fear often stands like a towering mountain, casting a long shadow over our dreams, making them seem distant and unattainable. But when we dare to face these fears, we often find that the mountain is not as insurmountable as it appeared from afar. Stoicism doesn't ask us to ignore risks or rush blindly into the unknown. Instead, it urges us to approach our dreams with a balanced and grounded perspective, recognizing that failure is not a dead end, but simply a stepping stone on the road to growth and understanding. A powerful Stoic principle that can embolden us to chase our dreams is amor fati, the love of fate. This isn't mere resignation to life's challenges, but a wholehearted embrace of whatever life sends our way, both the sunshine and the storms. By adopting amor fati, we allow ourselves to experience the full spectrum of life, its victories, its disappointments, its joys and heartaches. All of these, the Stoics believe, are woven into the fabric of our existence, shaping our character and refining our path. This acceptance breaks the chains of paralyzing fear and empowers us to stride forward with unwavering courage and determination. The Stoic philosophy insists that true fulfillment lies not in accolades or external validation, but in living virtuously, in alignment with our own nature and potential. Thus, the fear of pursuing our dreams isn't just a hindrance to success. It's a barrier to living a life that is authentically ours. But why is this so difficult to remember? Often it's because we yearn for connection and validation, allowing ourselves to measure our worth by the opinions of others or the milestones we've achieved. Stoicism teaches us that our worth is not bound by these external markers, but by our internal virtues. As Epictetus so wisely said, freedom is not secured by fulfilling our heart's desire, but by removing our desire. When we shift our focus inward, away from the approval of others, we recognize that true freedom and contentment spring from acknowledging our intrinsic value, a value that is as constant and unchanging as the stars in the sky. Stoicism encourages us to see our worth not through the lens of external achievements, but through the lens of character. Our worth is not defined by the titles we hold, the wealth we amass, or the applause we receive, but by our commitment to living virtuously, living with integrity, kindness, and courage, regardless of how the world views us, is the Stoic measure of true success. Sign 12. Failure to recognize your own worth. Our true worth is like an unshakable foundation beneath our feet, but too often, we forget it. We fall prey to comparison, measuring our journey against others, and seeing only their successes while our own struggles remain hidden. We mistake this comparison for a fair measure of our worth, but in reality, it's an illusion, a mirage in the desert of self-doubt. Stoicism asks us to dismantle these misconceptions. Happiness is not a scarce resource reserved for the deserving. It is the natural byproduct of living virtuously. Stoics teach that joy comes from aligning our actions with our values, not from the fleeting validation of others. By focusing on what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, our reactions, we reclaim the power to shape our own happiness. In practical terms, this means embracing gratitude. By practicing gratitude, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. It's about seeing the beauty in the small things, appreciating our inner strength, and celebrating the virtues that define us. Gratitude isn't just an attitude, it's a way of living that reaffirms our worth and opens us to the richness of the present moment. Sign 13. Feeling unworthy of happiness. So why, despite all of this, do we often feel unworthy of happiness? Our minds, conditioned by past wounds, societal pressures, or personal failures, paint a picture of happiness as something earned, a prize for those who have done enough, achieved enough, or met the world's ever-changing standards. We compare ourselves to others, often seeing only their successes while our own struggles remain in the shadows. This comparison breeds a quiet but powerful belief that happiness is a reward and we are somehow unworthy of it. Stoicism challenges this belief. It teaches us that happiness is not a destination to be earned, but a way of being. True happiness arises from living in harmony with our values and nature. It is found in the practice of virtue, in choosing to act with reason, integrity, and courage regardless of the outcome. Stoicism offers us the freedom to let go of the need for external approval. It calls us to shift the narrative we tell ourselves about worthiness. We must challenge the belief that happiness is conditional on perfection, external validation, or success. Instead, we should understand that happiness is rooted in the pursuit of virtue, the cultivation of character, and the embrace of the present moment. This shift in perspective is powerful. When we stop looking outward for our worth and begin to look inward, we discover that happiness isn't a distant goal, but an ongoing practice. It is the joy of living according to our values, of finding fulfillment in the simple act of doing what is right and true. And in doing so, we also recognize the role of community. Happiness is not a solitary journey. Stoicism teaches that while our worth and happiness ultimately come from within, they are also affirmed by the wisdom and love of those around us. We are not alone in this. We walk together, supporting and being supported by others who, too, seek virtue, fulfillment, and peace. Conclusion. As we navigate life, we are like artists, holding a blank canvas in our hands, ready to paint with the vibrant colors of virtue, resilience, and joy. The path may be challenging, but it is also full of potential for growth, for fulfillment, for happiness. You are the architect of your own destiny, the sculptor of your own happiness. The obstacles you face are not roadblocks, but opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You are worthy of happiness, capable of achieving your dreams, and deserving of every bit of love and success that comes your way. So, step forward with courage. Embrace the wisdom of Stoicism and allow it to guide you on your journey. Thank you for joining Stoic Mindset today. Until next time, live bravely, love deeply, and claim the joy that is rightfully yours.